Hey guys, Nick Rodriguez here with the Fresno Church of Love. We are going to talk about the subject worship leading in comparison to song leading. And I just wanted to clarify that I am not here to criticize or put down the way you do things or anything that I come across, any tips, any ideas that I have is to hopefully help you go to a place or experience things better. It's to help you if you want it. A lot of you, may be perfectly satisfied and perfectly happy with where you are and what you're doing. And that, I think that's great. We're all different and we're all on a different journey. So I'm not wanting to criticize any worship leaders out there who may disagree with me. That's awesome. I think it's great to have so many different flavors and so many different types of ways of doing things. I'm just sharing my personal opinion, what I have come to know as good for me. If it's good for me, maybe it's good for someone else. Maybe not though. Maybe I'm the only one and that's fine. So I am here to bless and not curse as much as possible. So if I do criticize or anything like that, I apologize. So when I'm speaking of, I am from the school of really enjoying extended worship, really enjoying, when I think of like a 2 hour to 4 hour to 6 hour session of worship, that excites me. I am very happy about that. I've experienced that. I long for the days of having that again. And so I enjoy what I call, and worship is a huge word that can mean brushing your teeth. You can worship. Playing basketball, you can be worshiping. Just playing songs, it can be worship. Everything, it's a word that can cover a lot of different things. What I'm talking about is, it's hard to explain in words, but the experience of playing some music and singing these songs, that you kind of go on this journey, this adventure in what you would call the spiritual realm or an emotional experience, other than just singing a song and moving on to the next song and then moving on to the next song and then having the offering and then having, that's completely different. And if you love that, that's awesome. I don't enjoy that personally, but it's a different thing and that's fine. What I'm talking about is for people who want to go from that and want to do something different, not maybe better or worse, just different. It's a different thing. I'm talking about, so that is what I'm going to use the word as being a worship leader. So that's what I'm talking about when I say that word. I'm not saying that you're not a worship leader if you just play 3 songs and you're done. You play them we're going to go 2 times through the chorus and go to the bridge. And if you have it all planned out, that's awesome. That's something different. And you may be amazing at that. And I'm not against that. I don't like that personally, but that's fine. We can still be friends. I love more of the spontaneous worship and the ups and the waves. There's waves that come and go, and you follow it and you go on this journey, and that's what I'm talking about. So a couple things. If you are going into, and so I'm going to speak to the people who connect with that and want to do that more or better. That's the people I'm talking about. So all that to say, if that's not what you're wanting to move into, then probably stop the video because you're only going to get angrier. Okay. So if you are a person who wants to be a better worship leader, and again, that's what I'm talking about, going that way, then I would encourage you to learn how to worship on your own or with 1 or 2 people first, before you try to lead a congregation of a couple hundred, a couple thousand. It's a totally different thing. Or I would always start my worship leaders out with just me personally, or a small group to get used to. I always, if to do it right, it was just me and that other person, so I can help guide and go through it. But a small, it's you got to start. You got to be comfortable with worshiping yourself before you ever lead other people. You're a lead worshiper. So Matt Redmon would always say that to be a lead worshiper. I'm worshiping up here, and it's pretty much going to be about the same as if I was by myself. It's not, because you are leading a group of people. But the best place, in my opinion, to start out from is a foundation of being able to get lost in worship for hours on your own. If you can't do that on your own or with one other person or two other people, you're not going to probably be able to do it very good or comfortably with a couple hundred or a couple thousand. Okay. So practice, and practice is just experience. You need experience doing it. So you don't have to be a great guitar player or piano, keyboard player. I actually not prefer, but I have no problem working with people who have just learned an instrument. It doesn't matter to me. It's a totally different thing. We're not talking about a performance where you hit every note and it's perfect and you hold it and it's crisp. It doesn't, that's a totally different thing again. That's a performance, and not that you can't get better at your instrument during worship, but we're talking about getting better at worship, not getting better at our instrument. And so starting out, just being able to feel. Now, when you're in worship, there are going to be ebbs and flows. This is the thought or the heart behind the harp and bowl model. If you've ever heard of that, you can look that up, check it out. IHOP KC, Google that or YouTube that. They have an app, IHOP KC. Well, there's a ministry out there that has been going 24 hours a day with 2-hour sessions for many, many years. Back in 98, we started out. But so in a 2-hour session, now we used to do like 12-hour sessions or 6 or 4 or however long you could last until you're exhausted. But now they have a system where they have 2 hours of a team come in and then leave, and another team of 2 hours. So in that 2-hour flow, how do you're not going to stay at, that everybody knows that peak during worship where everyone's like dancing or everybody's crying or everybody's at peace, or just you feel something in the air. There's an emotional or a spiritual or something's going on where you feel that, and you feel it peak and go up, up, up. You feel it mounting and rising. You feel this in secular music. You feel it in worship music. That's the point of that's what almost everybody wants to experience, right? Well, trust me, I have yet to see, and if somebody's doing it, let me know. But I've yet to see that happen for 2 hours straight. That just 100% yes. Okay. So you have to get comfortable and know how to ride these waves. Now, it's not the same all the time. This is an art. It's not a calculated scientific thing that's going to happen. You're never going to go, I'm going to rise for 5 minutes, and then at that 5 minute and 15-second mark, you're going to kick it up into like a 6 and a 7, and it's going to stay there plateau for a minute 25, and then it's going to build. Even the song, the one song is going to, you worship within one song, say, it's going to look 50 to 100 different ways over a few sessions. I mean, it's just never going to be the same. It might be the same once or twice. It doesn't matter if it is the same. I'm just saying that don't be afraid of it not being the same. It's much more of an art form. Okay. So you have to be comfortable with that, and you've got to know what to do when you're coming down or you're all the way down. How do you keep it going, keep everybody's attention, keep your own attention, keep engaged, and how do you rise up again? Okay. So that happens. So you're not trying to make anything happen. You're riding. When you're surfing out there, you're not making those waves. You're seeing what's there. Sometimes it's a huge wave. Sometimes it's a medium wave. Sometimes there's no waves at all. what are you doing with what's being given? So there's something happening in the room. If you call it Holy Spirit, you call it whatever, maybe there's angels or whatever you want to call it, or your emotions, the chemicals, the atmosphere, the energy of the room, whatever that is, you've got to be able to recognize it. You've got to be comfortable of like, I've been here before. Okay. So when that, and we'll talk about specifics, that we can get into all this stuff, but I'm just kind of hitting the top of that you can be comfortable with playing one song, not even getting into the song for a half hour. That, to me, that's what I'm talking about, worship. So if you're coming in on a Sunday morning and you know I have 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and pastors will do this to you, and I'm sorry. If you have a pastor like that, then this is not going to work for you. You're going to have to find somewhere else or some other time, or talk to your pastor. You cannot have a time limit. Whatever's going on there doesn't agree with time limits. I lost my light here. Sorry, guys. Hope you can still see me. You cannot be thinking about that. You've got to, like I said, follow what's going on. So if any of you are interested in the Fresno, California area, and if any of you want help or want practice, the permission to do that, let me know. I will definitely do that. That's what I do. So at that point, being able to be comfortable in quietness. Matt Redmon would talk about knowing your audience and stretching them. Mike Bickle will talk about this too. Stretching that time, whether you're singing in the spirit, a spontaneous song, or just kind of quietness, just the music. You learn how to stretch yourself first. You've got to be able to just be there for a long period of time. And then you got to teach your audience. You got to know, you got to feel them and see what's going on too. But also all this stuff is you practice your tool, you get better, you know all your songs, but when you're in the game, when you're in the worship moment, you're going to take all that stuff and you're going to use it the best you can with whatever comes your way. So it's a little bit different about leading a song. When you're a song leader, you play your songs and you're done. It's totally different. And that's awesome too. A lot of people like that stuff. They want to get to lunch on time. I get it. But this is different. It's not better or worse. It's just different. So depending on what you guys want, this is something we're talking about. Anyways, that's probably enough for right now. I can talk about this subject for a long, long time. I'm trying to remember what else I actually said about the worship leader compared to the song leader. My mind's going blank. But what you're doing is you have to be a worshiper if you're going to be a worship leader. You've got to be able to worship in front of thousands of people and just relax and be you. They are following you as you worship. Now there's different things we can do to keep everybody engaged. That's why you have choruses. You've got you don't want to be singing in octaves that nobody else can hit. All this, there's lots of different tools and tips. But the idea is you have to be comfortable with just you and God, just worshiping yourself. And to be able to do that and be that way in front of everybody else and keeping them engaged, of course. You don't want to sing a song that you wrote that week in a group setting and think they're going to, learn your song real quick. And, there's ways to introduce songs and stuff. But so anyways, love you guys. Hope that helps a little bit. Like I said, I'm not here to criticize, or this is just for people who want to do more, want to get better at worship, or go to a different place like that. If you want a pastor or someone that will give you permission to do that, even sometimes I've talked to a lot of worship leaders that don't have that ability. You've got to get outside of that and be able to practice it. So, all right, love you guys. Peace.